Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, students. I welcome you all. Again, I am C. Ankit Sharma, your income tax faculty for the last session of Basic Concept. This is our third session for Basic Concept, chapter number 1. And we will be completed our Basic Concept chapter today. Today, we will be discussing the provision regarding surcharge, the provision regarding marginal relief. It's a very interesting concept. It's very important also. And whenever I say important, that also means some complications are there. It's like little difficult also. So remember always, whatever is important in your life, that is also difficult, and vice versa. Whatever is difficult is automatically important. So CA course is difficult, that's why it's important. So doing graduation, BCom, etc., it is not that difficult, so that is not that much important for your career, etc. So whatever is difficult, whether it's about any subject or any chapter, so if a teacher says it is important, that indirectly is also saying that it might be a little more difficult. Or if somebody is saying it's a difficult thing, then that means it is very, very important. So winning a gold medal in Olympics is very, very difficult. That means it is very, very precious and very, very important also. Okay. So we will discuss the margin relief concept. Then we will take the illustration from your study material, test your knowledge question. Of course, some MCQs also regarding the calculation of tax topic. Then we will have agricultural income, theoretical as well as numerical provision that is going to be covered in today's class. So again, I welcome you all. Okay, so there are good afternoon messages from Tejaswin, Niket, Pranav, Tanu, Maroj. I again welcome you all. Fine. Before starting the class, let me share with you the thought for today. Okay. So this is one of my favorite thought actually, and let me tell you, this is the thought when I actually read it in some newspaper when I was pursuing the journey of becoming a CA. And at time it happened that somebody or some people suggest me that why you are doing this course. There will be a lot of CA in future, so might be you will not get that much of work, or you will not maybe get a good job, or you might not able to success in the practice also. But at that duration, I read this quotation in some Hindustan Times, etc. And it is so impressive. It was so impactful that from that day till now, this is my favorite quotation. This is my favorite thought. And you can read it and understand how deeply and beautifully it is true. There is no future in any job. It says is there is no future in any job, but the future lies in the man, woman, the person who holds the job. So there might be a doctor who is earning 50,000 rupees per month, and there might be a doctor who is earning 5 lakh rupees per month. And let me tell you, there might be a doctor who is earning 5 lakh rupees per day. So they do all have the same degree, but still it depends how you explore your profession, how as a person you explore your profession. That will decide what will be the your future. So you all have the same books, you all are taking the classes, but might be you all are not getting equal marks because it depends how you utilize this timing, how you utilize exploring these classes, how you are devoting your time to your studies. That will decide your future, your marks, etc. There might be a CA who is earning 1 lakh rupees, and I know personally 1 lakh rupees per month, and I know personally some CAs who are earning technically more than 50 lakh rupees per month also. So it depends how you explore the time, and you are the future. So it depends upon the person who is technically holding that job, etc. So believe me, this is the most beautiful quotation what I have came through in so much of it till this time of my life. So it was very, very special for me also. So let's get started with the provision part now. Of course, we will have a short story also. But before that, let's discuss the provisions, what we need to discuss for today class. We have discussed about the rate of taxes. The rate of taxes which we discussed for Section 115 BAC also. That was our default tax regime. And we have an optional tax regime also. So we have discussed the tax rate for optional tax regime. That was 2.5 lakh exemption for some individuals, HUF, so for some individual it was 3 lakh rupees, and for super citizen it was 5 lakh rupees. And then we discussed the rates of taxes, which was like 5% for slab rates. Some slab rates are 20%, and some were 30%. In the same way, under section 115 BA, we have also rate 5%, then 10%, then 15%, etc. as per the slab rate. Now we have a different provision also. In the last class also, I have told you that first of all, we will calculate the taxes. Then we will subtract the rebate. Then we will add the surcharge if applicable. And then we have 4% cess provision. So we have discussed about the tax calculation part for both the regime. We have discussed the rebate part for both the regime, except one special provision for section 115 BAC rebate that we will discuss today. Now we are moving on to surcharge provision. Now surcharge provisions are technically multiple surcharge provisions are here now, multiple, because we have surcharge applicability as per rate wise. So what are these surcharge and what is the meaning of surcharge? The surcharge means is tax on tax. So whatever tax you calculated, surcharge will be applicable on that tax. So it is not applicable on income. Carefully understand this thing. Tax is on income, your total income. So tax is imposed on income, but surcharge is imposed on tax. So that's why we call it tax on tax, that is equivalent to surcharge. What is the range when it will be applicable? Under both regime, it will be applicable only if your total income exceeding 50 lakh rupees. So if your total income does not exceed 50 lakh rupees, there would no surcharge applicability, whether you are under optional tax regime or under default tax regime. Clear? Now, what is the applicability? It says if your total income exceeding 50 lakh rupees and up to 1 crore. Under optional tax regime, it says if your total income exceeding 50 lakh rupees but up to rupees 1 crore, then surcharge rate would be 10% on tax. So I will only write down the percentage. So that percentage automatically you have to apply upon the tax part. Clear? If your total income exceeding 1 crore but up to 2 crore, then the surcharge will be 15% on tax. Clear? It's a simple rate. We just need to read it. If it is exceeding 2 CR but up to 5 CR, then it would be 25%. And if it's exceeding 5 CR, then it would be 37% in case of optional tax regime. In our notes, also it has been mentioned. You can read it from here. That surcharge 10% on tax if total income is exceeding 50 lakh upon 1 crore. Clear? If it is more than 1 crore but up to 2 CR, then rate will be 15%. It's more than 2 CR up to 5 CR, it would be 25%. And if it exceeding 5%, it would be 37% of tax. Clear? That was the applicability under optional tax regime. Now we have to see what is the taxability of surcharge under default tax regime. So the good news is under default tax regime, surcharge provisions are exactly same. More than 50 lakh up to 1 crore, it would be 10%. Exactly same, just a single difference. If it is more than 1 crore up to 2 crore, exactly 15%. Now it's more simpler. If it is exceeding 2 CR, it will always be 25%. There is no percentage of 37% in case of default tax regime. So there would be, if it is up to 2 crore, it would be 15%. If exceeding 2 crore, then it does not matter whether your income exceeding 2 CR or 5 CR, it would remain 25%. So if it is an MCQ asked, What is the maximum rate of surcharge in default tax regime? The correct answer would be 25%. But now things is going to be more complicated due to some special category of income. There are some special income. We have just understood the provision to calculate tax on normal rate of tax income. Income which belongs to normal incomes. We just, the rate, the slab rate, what we have gone through, those are for the normal rate of tax applicable for normal rate of income, the slab rates. But we have some special incomes also for which a special rate of tax has been provided under that. Those special rate of taxes we will discuss under different head of chapter like capital gain, casual income, income from other source, etc. So you do not need to bother about the rate of those special income. But we have to bother about the surcharge provision. Due to some special income, those are long-term capital gain under section 112, 112A. You do not need to bother about what is long term, what is 112. That is going to be discussed later. Okay. Short term capital gain under section 111A and dividend income. So these having a special rate of taxes applicability, whether you are under optional tax regime or you are under special tax, default tax regime. But if we do not need to read the tax rate of these income here, so why we are discussing these income over here? Because the reason of surcharge. If these incomes have not been given in the question, then surcharge rate would be this, what we just discussed, whether in the optional or in the default. But if in the question, these rates, these incomes also have been mentioned, then in that case, our surcharge rate would be different. How different? On these income, surcharge rate will be something else. On these income tax, whatever the tax will be imposed on these category of income, the surcharge rate would not be like this. This will not be the surcharge rate in case of these income. That is a different procedure. For other income, surcharge rate will also affected due to the inclusion of this income. So what I'm trying to explain you, that if in the question there is no special rate of income has been given, as 4 we discussed, no special rate of income has been given, then surcharge rate will be as above, whether under optional tax regime, whether under default tax regime. Clear? But if these income has been given in the question, if they are also given in the question, then surcharge rate would be different in different situation. And this will affect both the normal income surcharge also and the special rate of income surcharge also. So this is little complicated, but for the better understanding of these provision, I have made a chart presentation. So you would be really, it would be really easy for all of you to understand the concept with the help of this diagram. When these special income has been given in the question, then surcharge provision we will discuss with the help of this chart. And it would be really easy to understand if you are reading these provision with the help of this diagram and this chart. Both provision for optional tax regime and default tax regime almost same in this category. Only one difference in surcharge provision under default tax regime, under optional tax regime. Only there is a one difference, that under default tax regime there is no 37% surcharge rate is applicable. The maximum rate is 25%. Everything else is same under default tax regime as well as under optional tax regime. So first we are discussing the surcharge provision for opting out default scheme. Opting out default scheme means we are talking about optional scheme surcharge provision. And do not worry, I have also, there are some illustration regarding the surcharge provision. So after reading these provision, We will solve those illustrations. So it would be really easy for all of you to understand the concept of surcharge, what to apply, when to apply, how to apply. Okay. So moving on to with the provision, and now you can see our case number one is saying, what is case number one is saying? It says, if total income does not consist, read carefully, does not consist long-term capital gain, then 112, then 111A and dividend. So those special category of income. So we all know if our total income does not consist, does not include any of these income, not even one, it should be, there should not be any income out of these four income. So if our total income is given in the question, but there is no income which is long-term 112A, 112, 111A or dividend, no out of these four income has been included under our income, then surcharge provision will be same as we discussed. Up to 50 lakh, you can see 10% on tax. More than 50 lakh, it's 10%, of course. Up to 50 lakh, there is no surcharge. More than 1 CR up to 2 CR, it would be 15%. More than 2 CR, it would be 25%. More than 5 CR, it would be 37%. Clear? So that we have already discussed. Now, this is the complicated thing or messy thing. And it will be applicable when any of these four income has been also given in the question with the other income. So if total income consisting long-term capital gain 112A, 112 or STG or dividend, any of them, then provision of surcharge will be applicable as per case number 2. It will be changed a little bit. So those are for Hindi medium. Let me tell you in simple language. So आप लोगों के लिए भी easy हो जाएगा. सरचार्ज के प्रोविजन ये वाले एप्लीकेबल रहेंगे अगर आपकी इनकम में इन चारों में से कोई स्पेशल कैटेगरी ऑफ रेट इनकम नहीं है तो सरचार्ज विच इज टैक्स ऑन टैक्स हम इन रेट से एप्लीकेबल करेंगे एंड दीज आर रियली सिंपल. बट अगर आपकी इनकम में इन चारों में से कोई भी एक या दो या तीन या चार इनकम भी इंक्लूड है अदर इनकम के साथ साथ, तो फिर सरचार्ज की रेट ए बी या सी में से किसी एक तरह से एप्लीकेबल होगी. क्लियर? So this was the basic case, simple case, and now this is the case when any of these four income is also giving in the question. So what will happen? We have three circumstances. We have three sub cases of case number 2. Case number A says if total income including 112A, 111A, 112 dividend is up to 2 crore rupees. Suppose if your total income has been given in question like this, that other income means other than these four income has been given in question 80 lakh rupees. And suppose short-term capital gain 111A. Please do not bother about what is short-term cap gain 111A, long-term. Do not ask any query related with this. So we have a specific chapter for all these short-term capital gain, etc. So what are these income? That is going to be discussed over there. So suppose other income is 80 lakh and short-term capital gain 111A. Suppose it has been given in question 100 lakh rupees. So total income is 180 lakh, but it is including these income. So our case number 2 will be applicable. Suppose if in question only total income has been given 80 lakh and that is an other category. तब क्या होता? तब we will apply as per case number 1 and because income is 80 lakh that is between up, that is first case more than 50 up to 1 CR. So surcharge rate would be 10%. But because in this question other income 80 lakh and STCG is given 100 lakh. So now we have 180 lakh rupees. That means 1.8 crore total income. So that will fall in category A. What category A says? That if your total income, including these income is up to 2 CR, it should not exceed 2 CR. So if it is up to 2 CR, then surcharge would be applicable as per A category. And how it will be applicable? If total income exceeding 50 lakh up to 1 CR, then surcharge would be 10% on tax. And if total income is exceeding 1 CR up to 2 CR, then surcharge rate would be 15%. So technically you can see it will be like old provision. There is no problem arise. If your total income, including these income, does not exceed 2 CR, then surcharge provisions are same. So if your total income, including these income, is more than 50 lakh up to 1 CR, then of course, surcharge rate would be same as in this case. There is no new concept. Or if it is exceeding 1 crore but up to 2 crore, then surcharge provision will be 15% on tax. The tax on whether normal income or special rate income, whatever is the tax, surcharge rate would be either 10% or 15% in these cases. So simple. If income does not exceed 2 CR. So there is no new concept. But if income exceeding 2 CR, this is opposite of A. So if income including these special income is not exceeding 2 CR, then surcharge rate would be like case number A provision. There is no new concept has been introduced. But if total income exceeding 2 CR or 5 CR, whether exceeding 2 CR, whether exceeding 5 CR, after including these income, then surcharge rate would be only 15% fixed on all the income. For example, if other income, suppose in question is giving 80 lakh and short-term capital gain 111A has been given in question 3 crore. So my total income is 3.8 crore. So case will fall in category B. If my total income, including these special income, is exceeding 2 CR or 5 CR. So my income exceeding 2 CR after including this income. If short-term capital gain does not include, then my income would not exceed 2 CR. After including this, it is increased by 2 CR. So now surcharge rate would be 15%. Suppose short-term capital gain is 8 crore. Then my income would be 8.8 crore. Still surcharge rate would be 15% there in this case. So you can see A and B case is not very complicated. A is same. A says if after including this income, your total income does not exceed 2 CR. So in that case, if that income fall between 50 lakh or 1 CR, it would be 10%. If exceeding 1 CR up to 2 CR, it would be 15%. So if somebody asks what will happen if income exceeding 2 CR, because A covered only up to 2 CR case. So if exceeding 2 CR, this will be applicable. This is more simple. In that case, whatever will be the tax, the surcharge it would be uniform, that is 15% of tax, whether on normal income or on special category of income. Third case is different. In third case, surcharge would be applicable separately. On these special category of rate of income, surcharge rate would be different. And whatever tax you will calculate for other category of income, surcharge rate would be different. When it will be applicable? Now read it very carefully. This is very interesting. If total income without including or considering. So case A was saying if total income including these income. B also saying if including this income. So A says if it is including these income up to 2 CR. If after including exceeding 2 CR. Now it says if your total income without including any of these 4 special rate of income. So that means it says if your other income is exceeding directly 2 CR or 5 CR. For example, suppose the question other income has been given 3 CR and long-term capital gain has been given 1 CR. So now you can see in this case, other income exceeding 2 CR without including this income. So that is case number C. So if your other income after including these 4 income is up to 2 CR, category A. If it is after including exceeding 2 CR, category B. If it is even without including any of these income, matlab if other income independently exceeding 2 CR, if exceeding 2 CR without including, in that situation, this C will be applicable. And now you can see the surcharge would be separately applicable. If without considering these income, your other income is exceeding 2 CR or 5 CR, then surcharge rate would be 15% on the tax on these special category of income. Whatever the tax would be applicable on these special category rate of income, the surcharge rate would be 15%. And on other income, if it is more than 2 CR up to 5 CR, then surcharge rate would be 25%. And if your other income is exceeding 5 CR, then your surcharge rate would be 37%. So C case, in my opinion, is more important. That means more difficult, of course, automatically. So it would be more chances that the C case question might be framed, chances to frame any kind of question. But in my opinion, C case is very interesting. So if someone able to understand the C case, then A, B, and the first part is very, very simple. So they are all mutually exclusive event. If case 1 is applicable, then case 2 cannot be applicable. If case 2 is applicable, then A, B, or C are mutually exclusive event. Either A will be applicable, or B will be applicable, or C would be applicable. Clear? So with the help of an example, you would be more easily going to understand what exactly I am trying to explain to you. So we have the questions, different 7 case scenario. Out of these 7 examples, we have to find out which case is applicable, and according to that, we can apply the rate of surcharge. Okay, let's discuss case number 1. Read carefully. In the case number 1, other income has been given 70 lakh rupees. Clear? Dividend, long-term, etc. is not given. That means it's nil. So it's a simple. It's a case number 1. Your total income is only 70 lakh and you do not have any 4 special category of income. So if no 4 special category of income has been given, then first case will be applicable. That is, if it is more than 50 up to 1 CR, surcharge rate would be 10%. I have also written the case which is applicable as per above chart. Clear? Now, point number 2, example 2, your other income is 80 lakh and your dividend etc. is 1.9 CR. Now, total income is 2.7 CR. So, which is applicable? Now, your TI is 2.7 crore, but it is 2.7 crore after including this income, special income. So, if after including the special income, if after including the special income, your TI exceeding 2 CR, then which case is applicable? Case number 2, B case. So, in that case, surcharge rate be fixed, that is 15% on the total tax of all income. Clear? In third example, if it is 90 lakh and 80 lakh, now TI is 1.7 crore and it is less than 2 crore. So if it is less than 2 crore after including the special income, then case number A would be applicable and surcharge rate would be 15%. Why 15%? Because the income is between 1 to 2 crore. Now case number 4, it's 1.3 crore and other income is 2 crore. Is other income exceeding 2 crore? No. Until otherwise, other income will not exceeding 2 crore. Either case A will be applicable or B will be applicable. If it is going to exceed 2 crore, then only case C will be applicable. Clear? So now it's 3.3 crore, but this income exceeded 2 crore rupees. So in that situation, case number B would be applicable, and whenever case B will be applicable, rate would be 15%, always fixed. Now point number 5, and now you can see it is exceeding 2 crore. And this income is 1 crore, now 5 crore. So now we will fall in case number C. So case C will say 15% on 1 crore income because it is belongs to a special category of income. This one, fine. And because income does not exceeding 5 crores, so for normal income, the surcharge rate would be 25%. C case, sixth case, of course, 6 CR. It's more than 5 CR. So again, C case applicable, total 8 CR, 2 crore, 15%, and because other is exceeding 5 crore, so that would be 37% rate. 7 example, it's 4 crore. There is no special category of income has been given. So that is only case number 1 applicable. This is. If no other income, no special rate of income, then normal case applicable, surcharge would be 25% on 4 CR tax. So it is quite complicated. No doubt it is complicated. And because you are actually facing this bombarding first time, so it might be feeling little complicated. But now we will solve MCQs and test your knowledge question and illustration. So you will feel that it is not that complicated. If you are going through this chart after the class, just revise twice this chart and again try to solve these examples. You will find out that that is not that difficult. Clear? Now that was the provision. After this topic, I will take the queries. So after this provision, that was for optional tax regime. I have also prepared diagram for default tax regime. It's over here. And there is no difference. That's a good thing. There is no difference, only one difference. There is no 37%. If it is more than 2 CR, still 25%. More than 5 CR, still it would be 25%. And again, also in this case, if it is more than 2 CR or more than 5 CR, it will remain 25%. There is no bifurcation of 37% in case of default tax regime. I have also mentioned that difference in this highlighted line also. You can go through it, that there's only one difference. Clear? Let me see if there is any query on query portal, then I will ask you that you can also ask your query. But first of all, let me see if there is any query on query portal. Aditi is asking, is it possible one would earn? Yes, of course, you are asking the right question. It would be possible that someone has only the special category rate of income. There is no other income. So in case of a special category rate of income, the surcharge rate would be 15% always. Fine. Why surcharge is charged is told you earlier also that we cannot ask the question why. So why this is something we cannot ask. So there would not be any why. There is some reason behind, of course, why government charged it. Of course, there's a logical reason. But we cannot discuss that. That's not a part of our syllabus also, and that is not going to be asked in the examination also. So just forget about why. Just try to remember what it is. That is sufficient for you. Okay. So before that query, I would like to solve some question from your study material, all illustration, etc. So that will boost your confidence, and I believe after that your queries will be limited. Most of the query is going to be solved in this. So there is a page number 1.54 from your study material on which we are going to discuss from illustration number 3. Okay, from page number 1.57. I believe you must have gone through with the provision what we discussed in the last class. So we have the illustration and you can see Mr. X has a total income of 16 lakh for previous year 24-25, comprising of income from house property and interest on fixed deposit. Compute his tax liability for assessment year 25-26 under the default tax regime. As I have also asked you in the last session, that today you should have a pen, a paper, and a calculator. So when you will try to solve the question, you are also going to solve it simultaneously. So it would be better for you to understand. So this is a question, read it carefully, and we have been asked to calculate the tax under default tax regime. We have to calculate tax as per default tax regime. Clear? That is need to be checked in the examination also. Read it and try to calculate the tax. Then I'll solve it for you. You have 1 minute to calculate the tax. Then I will solve it for you. That will increase your confidence also. We have to apply the default tax regime provision. Remember. Okay, you must have solved it. Let me show you. So the question says that Mr. X, look, in the default tax regime, let me mention this, that the age of the person, the status would not affect anything except the rebate. So rate would be same in case of default tax regime. Fine. So 16 lakh has been given. Our slab rate says up to first 3 lakh. Up to first 3 lakh, there would be no tax. So out of the 16 lakh, the first 3 lakh is going to be exempted. Then for next 4 lakh. How next 4 lakh? I've explained you from 3 to 7 lakh. So that means the difference is 4 lakh. The rate would be 5%. So it would be 20,000. Clear? Then we have from 7 to 10. So the next would be 3 lakh. I will also going to show you a trick for the further calculation, for future calculation. So that would be 30,000. Clear? Then from 10 to 12, that means next 2 lakh. The rate would be 15%. So that is again 30,000. Then from 12 to 15, that means for next 3 lakh. The rate is 20%. So that is 60,000. So you can see up to this 15 lakh range, if you'll see for this 15 lakh range, the tax would be 1,40,000 up to 15 lakh. And for balance, how much is left? 1 lakh, because total income was 16. We have calculated tax as per slab rate till 15. The balance would be taxable at 30%. So that would be 30,000. So my tax would be 1,70,000. Clear? Now let me share you a trick. It's not a trick technically. It's a very simple common sense that if in the question the income has been given over 15 lakh, under default tax regime, if income has been given over 15 lakh, then up to 15 lakh, we know the tax would be 1,40,000 in every case, fixed. So we do not need to do all this calculation. We know that up to 15 lakh, the income tax would be 1,40,000. So remaining will be need to be taxable at the rate of 30%. Suppose now you know the trick, and if I'll ask you to calculate tax on 20 lakh rupees income. So what we will do up to 15, it's 1,40,000 fixed. It's simple mathematics. So balance 5 lakh, 30%, 1,50,000. Solved. So it would be this simple. So going to the question, the tax is 1,70,000. Will there be any rebate? Rebate under default tax regime up to 7 lakh rupees of income. So there is no rebate applicability. Would there be any surcharge? Surcharge is above 50 lakhs. So there would not be any surcharge. So that is my tax minus rebate plus surcharge tax. But there would be a cess, that is health and education cess, or we can say education or health cess. So this is always going to be applicable. Cess does not need any range. Cess does not need anything. If there is tax, there would be 4% cess in all cases, whether you are individual, HUF, company, etc., etc., etc. So 4% would be your education cess, yeah, or we can say cess. That would be 6,800. So my final tax liability would be 176,800. So if under default tax regime, income has been given more than 15 lakh. So for a shortcut, you can directly take that income up to 1,40,000 tax up to 15 lakh. There is no need to for this calculation also. Clear? So that was our question. You can see the solution also. That was illustration number 3. Now moving on to our illustration number 4. Illustration number 4 says Mr. X has a total of 16 lakh for previous year 20-25, and assuming the most important thing is how to calculate tax, and it says you have to calculate tax imagining he's shifting opt out of the default tax regime. So under optional tax regime. Now age also matter. So the age of 45 year, that means the basic exemption limit would be 2.5 lakh. If the age is 63 years, so he's a senior citizen, the exemption limit would be 3 lakh. And for him, he's a super senior citizen, the exemption limit would be 5 lakh rupees. Clear? Again, under optional tax regime, up to 10 lakh rupees. If you calculate tax, that would be 1,12,500 rupees for these person as a slab rate. First 250 free, then 5 lakh is 20%, so as on, fine. And for these person up to 10 lakh rupees, that is also a shortcut for your future. This would be 1,10,000. And for super senior citizen up to 10 lakh, there would be tax would be 1 lakh rupees. Clear? So we will solve it. Let me take the queries now. So we'll move further. Okay, so if somebody wants to ask something, they can ask. Hardik wants to ask something, you can go ahead. Okay. I guess. So we need to calculate tax upon these category of person. You can see if the income is 16 lakh, then up to 10 lakh, the tax is 1,12,000. Clear? 500. And balance 6 lakh is liable to tax at the rate of 30%. That would be 1,80,000 plus 1,12,500. Add it, rebate bill not applicable, surcharge will not applicable, and we will add the 4% cess. Accordingly, you can solve point B and C also. I would like to solve the question which is for surcharge provision. And for that purpose, first of all, we have to discuss the concept of marginal relief. Because the marginal relief concept and surcharge provisions we are going to solve. Illustration number 5 onwards, there are questions including surcharge and marginal relief. So we just discussed the provision of surcharge, and now we will discuss the marginal relief. Then we would be able to solve illustration number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So moving on to the provisions of marginal relief. That's a very interesting topic. Marginal relief. So that all we have gone through, of course. For 115 BAC applicability, there are certain conditions also you have to fulfill. Those conditions going to be discussed in different chapters, one by one, like salary, etc. The rebate concept, what I was discussing, this has been left. It would be easy to understand after the marginal relief. So I will take this rebate concept also after the marginal relief concept. Now, what is marginal relief? Marginal relief is a very, very, very different concept. And you might, if you are reading this first time, if you are going to hear the concept of marginal relief first time, it might going to shock you. And it says Listen very carefully what it says. It says if at some point of time, or if in any situation it happens that the tax has been more than the income. If it has been happened that income is less, but the tax is more than income, then marginal leave concept will be applicable. So what exactly it wants to say? It wants to say like this. Suppose your income is 1 lakh rupees. Your income is 1 lakh rupees, and suppose the tax on this income comes 1 lakh 10,000 rupees. If it happens, then there will be marginal leave applicability. So how it's possible? How it is possible? Okay, Arun is asking, sir, does education and health cess have any income slab? No. It will always be 4%. It does not affect it with any kind of individual person, etc. It's always 4% on the tax value. Illustration 3 answer is wrong. What and who is saying this? What is illustration 3 answer wrong? Answer is correct. We are solving it as per assessment year 25-26. And you might be solving it as per assessment year 24-25. In that case, the slab rate was different. So like Miss Rathi Malani V and who is saying this? Somebody else was also saying this. So answer is correct. Kindly read the provision before sending these kind of answer. Okay, you are answering as per last assessment year provision, but for assessment year 25-26, 115 BAC rate has been changed. Okay. Yes, illustration 4, we have to compute not by old tax. There is no old or new tax regime, students. Please let me clarify this. This old tax regime, new tax regime, no, there is only 115 BAC. We call it default tax regime. So one is default tax regime, one is optional tax regime. This old new concept regime was in last assessment year 24-25 concept. It is not applicable in this year. So kindly do not get confused by this. Old and new regime concept or name should not be used. Okay. So we are on concept of marginal leave. So marginal leave says when it happens, if it happens when suppose income is 1 lakh and your tax exceed the income. If it happens, then we will give you a marginal leave. Marginal leave is equivalent to like a discount. We will give you discount from this tax. And how much discount we will give you? 10,000. The difference. So we will now collect the tax of only 1 lakh rupees. We will discount this amount of marginal leave from your total tax. So now you just need to pay the 1 lakh rupees, because the basic concept of income tax say income tax cannot exceed the income. So we can collect the tax maximum up to the amount of income. So in this situation, it is actually violating, because now income is 1 lakh and tax is 1 lakh 10,000. So the first question, which is actually comes into the mind, it is how it's possible. How? Because we have tax rate 30% and suppose surcharge rate is 37%, which is upon tax. It's not 30 plus 37, 67. The 37% is upon 30%. So that would be like 11 or 12%. So that would total would be 42, 43%. So how it's possible that if I'm going to an income of rupees 1 lakh rupees, then how it's possible that my tax would be more than 1 lakh rupees? So if the provision is there, that means there must be some situation in which this is going to happen. And let me tell you when it's going to happen. When the surcharge is applicable on any income. So in some cases, it's not applicable in every cases, but there are some cases in which when surcharge is applicable, then in that certain range of income, in some cases, in that certain range of income, the tax would be higher than the income. Again, you are not going to understand it until otherwise we are going to solve it with the help of an example. Before that, let's read the provision. In certain cases, due to surcharge effects, excess of tax can exceed the excess of income. But as a general rule, tax cannot exceed income. So in those cases, this general rule overruled. So to nullify that excess, marginal relief is applicable. And marginal relief is nothing else, it's just the discount. So suppose if tax is income is 10 rupees and tax is 12 rupees, then what is marginal relief? 2 rupees will be the marginal relief. Marginal relief will applicable in case of if tax exceed income, then such excess will be allowed as discount out of the tax so collected, and that discount is called marginal relief. When it will be applicable? In case of individual, HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP, if total income exceeding 50 lakh. Until otherwise there is no surcharge is applicable, then generally marginal relief concept is not applicable. So it will applicable only in those cases in which there is surcharge is going to apply. So in case of individual, HUF, BOP, AOI, etc., surcharge applicable if income exceeding 50 lakh. And for other, surcharge applicable if income exceeding 1 crore for partnership firm, domestic company, etc. How to calculate marginal relief? Let me show you with the help of an example. Then we will read these provisions. Otherwise, you will be confused because the language is not that simple. It's quite complicated language. Let me show you how it works. Suppose there is Mr. A, aged 45 years, resident in India. The concept is same for section 15 BAC or optional regime. There is no difference in marginal relief concept. Same applicability. And the question says, suppose he has a total income of 51 lakh. And question says, calculate tax. So let me tell you, when your income exceeding slightly that limit from which surcharge is applicable, only due to some 2 or 3 lakh rupees range, it marginal concept will be applicable. If total income is 60 lakh, then there will be no marginally, but you need to calculate it to find it out. Fine? But it is not applicable in every case when the income is exceeding 51 lakh. It is exceeding 51 till 52 lakh or some rupees, it is applicable. After that, there is no marginally. Or in case where surcharge limit change, it also applicable. Like up to 1 CR, surcharge limit is 10%. And after 1 CR, it is 15%. So if your income is 1 crore 1 lakh, so it's slightly exceeding from where the surcharge rate has been changed. It was 10% up to 1 CR, and after that 1 CR, it's 15%. So in that situation also, surcharge can be applicable up to 2 or 3 lakh rupees exceeding 1 CR. Same in case of when your income exceeding 2 CR. Because up to 2 CR, it's 15%. After that, it's 25%. So maybe up to from 2 crore to 2 crore 3 lakh rupees, only marginally will be applicable, otherwise not. But we have to find it out. So what is the procedure? It's a fixed provision. You need not to change it as per the question. It's fixed. You always have to follow 3 steps and you will get your answer. Step 1, step 2, step 3. So for step 1, you have to write it down, whatever income has been given in question. So they asked you to calculate the marginal relief upon 51 lakh rupees income. So whatever income has been given in question, now you just need to calculate the tax on that income as per the normal provision, the tax. So upon 51 lakh rupees, what would be the tax as per the normal under optional tax regime? If we will calculate the tax under the normal tax on 51 lakh rupees, that up to like 2.5 lakh is free, then it's 5%, then 20%, like up to 10 lakh, it's 1 lakh 12,500 and balance is 30%. So if we will calculate the tax upon 51 lakh rupees, our tax would be 1342,500. Will rebate will be applicable? No, because after 5 lakh, there is no rebate applicable. Will surcharge will be applicable? Yes. What would be the rate of surcharge? It would be 10%. So it will be 134250. Cess is going to be applicable always at the end. We need to calculate the tax, rebate and surcharge. Cess is always at the end, we apply whatever calculations are there. So we not apply cess over here. So after this, now our tax on 51 lakh rupees after including surcharge would be 1476,750. Clear? We just calculate the normal tax. We did not do anything else. Step number 2 we will solve over here. Then step 3 would be here. Now the second step is fixed. Now you take here that income up to which there is no surcharge. So income is given in question 51 lakh. So if 51 lakh is there, then what is the previous limit up to which there is no surcharge or there was lesser rate of surcharge is applicable? Why I am saying lesser rate? Because suppose in the question, the income has been given 1 crore 1 lakh to calculate the marginality. So we will write for step number 1 income 1 crore 1 lakh. And for step 2, we will take 1 crore because before this 1 crore 1 lakh rate is surcharge 15. And what is the previous rate of surcharge? That is 10% up to 1 crore. So because on 51 lakh rupees income, the surcharge rate is 10%. So we will need to take 50 lakh always here. If it is 51, 52, 53, does not matter. We will take that income over here. But for over here, we will take always 50 lakh rupees. Because till that, there is no surcharge. Now we will calculate normal tax upon 50 lakh rupees. And that would be just a second. If we calculate tax upon 50 lakh, then up to 10 lakh, it's fixed and balance is 30%. So that would be 13 lakh 12,500. Our tax would be 13 lakh 12,500. No rebate and no surcharge will be applicable. Why surcharge will not be applicable? Because up to 50 lakh, there is no surcharge. So for calculating marginally, what we need to do? We need to calculate tax on that income which has been given in the question. And for second step number 2, we need to take that income from which that income which is without surcharge rate or that rate surcharge has been changed. The earlier rate of surcharge, that income. So after that, step number 3 is very simple. It says now find out the difference. So difference of income is, you can see 1 lakh rupees. It is 51 lakh and 50 lakh. And difference of tax, if you will see, so difference of tax would be 1,64,250. So now you have seen that if that individual who was earning 50 lakh rupees need to pay tax 1312500, but if he earned 51 lakh rupees, then only his income increased by 1 lakh rupees. Earlier he was earning 50 lakh, now he earned 51 lakh. So income has been increased by 1 lakh, but due to that increment, tax has been increased by 164,250. So technically, he needs to pay more tax on the income what he earned. So if I earn extra 1 lakh rupees, income tax come and will say, okay, give us 1,64,250. For this extra 1 lakh, you have to pay 164,250. So that is very rude technically or logically not allowed also. So government say now we will provide you marginally in that situation because we are very humble. For 1 lakh rupees, we will not ask you pay tax 164,250. We will give you marginally. And how? Just the difference between these two. Excess of tax over excess of income. So we will just take extra 1 lakh rupees, and the difference, it will be provided as a discount to you. And discount from which in tax? This tax liability. Actually, you earn 51 lakh. So discount would be from this value. So this is your tax liability, what you need to pay. And it would be 1476750, and we have discounted 64250. So we need to pay only 1412500. And then 4% cess of this value will be applicable. After adding that, whatever will be, that will be your final tax liability. So you can see what kind of provisions in this income tax. And as I told you, it will not always applicable if your income exceeding 50 lakh rupees. Suppose if in the question I says calculate marginal leave upon 54 lakh, then we will calculate tax on 54 lakh, tax plus 10% surcharge. And then we will take income 50 lakh over here. Then we will find out the tax. Now difference would be 4 lakh. So 4 lakh increased as income, but if you will find out the difference, that will be now less than 4 lakh. So if this is less and this is more, there will be no marginality. Then whatever tax from here it is, this is need to be paid after adding 4% cess. Only if this income difference is less than the difference of tax, then only marginal leave will be applicable. We have multiple questions for this. So that was the concept of marginal leave. Clear? Now you will understand the provision, what I am trying to say. How to calculate marginal leave? We have a specific format. We have the specific way to find out the marginal leave in each question. First step is calculate tax on the total income of such person as given in question without cess. Everything has been written. The income, suppose the question says you need to calculate the marginal leave on 2 crore 2 lakh rupees income. So I will write down 2 crore 2 lakh. Clear? And we will find out the tax plus surcharge. And surcharge would be 25% in this case. Because it's more than 2 crore, so surcharge would be 25%. Then step number 2. Now tell me, what income I should take in step number 2 for the purpose of marginal leave in this case? Let me see who is going to tell me. AJP Miss Bhavna is asking artificial judicial person. We have discussed that in our last lecture, definition of person. Marginally very logical concept. Yes, it's very logical and very complicated concept. Bharati is asking, is marginally cases in real life? Yes, it is actually happened in real life. It's an actual concept. Will marginal leave also applicable when income is 2,60,000? No, we will have rebate. Marginal leave will be applicable only if there is surcharge applicability. So if your income is less than 50 lakh, there would not be any marginal leave. Okay. How to present an exam? This you can go through your study material. They have solved the questions in the specific format. You can follow that. Even you can follow this. Of course, this format you can choose. You can write it down exactly like this. You can solve it. Okay, correct is 2 crore. So in the step number 2, we will take 2 crore because the rate of surcharge is different when it is up to 2 crore. It would be 15%. So now tax and 15% surcharge. So again, now we will have the income and the tax for 2 crore, 2 lakh and 2 lakh. And the third step say difference. You have to find it out. So it would be 2 lakh rupees over here. And if it is more than 2 lakh, difference of tax, then marginal leave applicable. If it is not, not more than 2 lakh rupees, then there would be no marginal leave. So if there is marginal leave, the difference would be discount and will be deducted from your tax liability. If there is no marginal leave, this will be your tax liability after applying cess. So difference of tax is more than difference of income. Difference of tax will be the marginal leave against your income. And if your difference of income does not less than the difference of tax, then there would be no marginal leave. Okay. Here is example solved. I have solved one more example for you. Calculate the tax of Mr. Sudeep if his total income is 51,50,000. So you can present the answer in this way also, because this is more easy to solve. The study material solution is also easy, but I guess for my perspective, in my opinion, this is more easy to solve. Step one, we will take the income which is being given in the question, that is 51,50,000. The tax, as per normal provision, the surcharge 10%, this is our full tax. Then step two, 50 lakh, the tax upon 50 lakh, total tax upon 50 lakh, the difference is 1,50,000 and the difference of tax is 187.50. So because the difference of tax is more than the difference of income, so that difference will be automatically the marginal relief, and it will be allowed as a discount from your tax liability over here. And after that, the education says, and this is your final tax liability. I hope it's clear. So that was the concept of marginal leave, and that was our rate of taxes. Now we will take that rebate concept, what we were discussing about section 115 BAC. Now you would be aware what is marginal leave. So this concept, this clause which has been inserted for the rebate provision, now you will understand, because this is also just like the concept of marginal leave, but the name is not marginal leave. It's a kind of a rebate. What it says, in case of optional tax regime, there's a fixed rule that up to 5 lakh rupees, you can claim the rebate of rupees 12,500 rupees or the amount of tax, whichever is lower. So if total income exceeding 5 lakh rupees under optional tax regime, there would not be any rebate. This is solved. Okay. But for section 115 BAC, this provisions also has been inserted, and it says if under 115 BAC, rebate would be applicable up to rupees 7 lakh. If your total income is 7 lakh rupees, then rebate would be tax or 25,000, whichever is low. It's a normal provision, but this is new something. Now it says if the total income of a resident individual, rebates are only applicable whether under section 115 BAC or under optional, only for resident and individuals. Okay. Is chargeable to tax under section 115 BAC and the total income of the individual exceeds 7 lakh. Again, under section 115 BAC, rebate is applicable up to rupees 7 lakh rupees TI. But this point says if his TI exceeds 7 lakh rupees, but the excess of income due to this rebate provision, the excess of income does not exceed the difference of tax, then you can claim the rebate. Exactly same the marginal leave, but in a different way. Same provision, same procedure, but the format is different. So it says if your income exceeding 7 lakh and the income tax payable on such total income exceed, exactly same thing. If your tax exceed your income over 7 lakh. You will understand with the help of an example, do not worry. Then that difference will be your rebate, same concept. But the name would not be marginal leave. The name would be called rebate for section 115 BAC. So what are the steps? Step 1 says total income minus 7 lakh. Suppose in the question total income is 7,20,000 has been given. Again, this will be only applicable up to 7,22,000 some rupees. After that, again, there will be no rebate benefit like marginal leave. So suppose question income is 720. So it says 7,20,000. Step 1 minus 7 lakh. So difference of income is 20,000. So your income increased by 20,000. Now it says compute income tax liability on total income. Now calculate tax upon income 7,20,000. Whatever is the tax upon 7.20 lakh rupees income, calculate the tax of it. Suppose the tax is 21,000. If it happens. So third point says if B exceeding A, this was B is 21,000 and A is 20,000. So if B exceeding the A, then the difference will be the rebate. That means in this example is 1,000 will be the rebate. What we will do with the rebate? We will deduct this rebate from the tax. So the excess of income cannot, the excess of tax cannot exceed the excess of income. Suppose the tax was, difference was 20,000 and suppose the tax is not 21,000, it is only 19,000. Difference is 20,000, but the tax on 7,20,000 is only 19,000. So now B and A is not applicable because B is not more than A. So the income tax liability will remain 19,000 plus cess whatever it is. So exactly same. Just step number 1, 2, 3 has been changed. So if the rebate has been asked, then you cannot apply the steps I have taught you for the purpose of marginally. You have to follow these steps. That's why I am discuss these provision with you. We have an example also. Just relax. It says, suppose Mr. Pawan age so and so, his income is 7,15,000. Calculate the tax under default tax regime. So what we will do? The difference of income over 7,15,000, that is my A. Now we will calculate tax upon 7,15,000 as per section 15 BAC provision. Now you can see it's 21,500. So B is exceeding A. If it happens, then this difference will be your rebate. Rebate is 6,500. You need to deduct it from the amount of tax. You will get the final tax. Apply cess. This is your answer. We have one more question. Okay, I solved that question in this way also. But I recommend you, please follow this concept. This is easy. This is also same concept to solve this question, but I still ask you kindly follow this computation. This is easy. Find out the difference of income or excess of income over 7 lakh. Then calculate the tax on the given income. And if B is more than A, then difference will be your rebate. That was the rebate concept. So our chapter part 2 of that provision has been completed. Let me see if there is any query in the query portal. Marginal leap in both options, whether it's optional tax regime or it's a default tax regime, it is applicable in both cases. Okay. Shruti is asking, rebate is used in only 7 lakh or with other two as marginal. Only for 7 lakh rupees under section 15 BAC, you have to apply it. Okay, so now we are moving on to our questions, illustration, etc. What we were discussing earlier. So moving on to the illustration number 5, which on page number 1.71. These are surcharge provision, marginally provision. You can go through with the study material also. Its same concept has been elaborated in detail. You can go through it also. Page number 1.71. Okay. So here is illustration number 5 and it says to calculate marginal leap on a person having income of 51 lakh rupees. So we have already solved 51 lakh rupees example under marginal leap question, what I just shared with you. So that example already has been discussed. We'll move on to another example with different income. Yeah, illustration number 6. Illustration number 6 says, okay. So illustration number 6, compute the tax liability of Mr. B, age 51 year, under the default tax regime, having total income of 1 crore 1 lakh for assessment year 25-26, assuming his total income comprise of salary, etc. Not those four special category of income has been given. So due to that, surcharge provision will be easy for us. And income has been given 1 crore 1 lakh rupees, and they have asked to calculate the tax under default tax regime. We have to calculate the default tax regime. So income has been given 1 crore 1 lakh rupees. So let's solve it. So age 51 year does not make a difference. And we have 115 BAC default tax regime. Income has been slightly over the limit on which there is surcharge rate has been changed. 1 crore 1 lakh rupees. So we are going to apply marginal relief provision. Step number 1 will say calculate tax on income of rupees, which has been given in question. So we will calculate the tax. I've already solved it. The tax would be 2,72,000. Sorry, 27,20,000. And surcharge rate would be 15%. So that will be 408,000. So my tax would be 312,8,000. I am solving it with the help of alternative method, which has been given in your study material. There are two methods to solve marginal relief question, but I am solving, my method is the alternative method, which has been given in question. You can follow this. There is no issue. Same method, same answer. Then the step number 2 will say that we will consider that income up to which there is no surcharge or surcharge rate would have been changed. The preceding surcharge rate limit of income. That would be 1 crore rupees. So up to 1 crore, if we will calculate the tax, that would be 269,000. Surcharge rate would be 10%. So it would be 269,000. And we have tax 2,959,000. Now step number 3 says we need to find the difference. Difference of income is 1 lakh. And difference of tax, if you will see, that would be 1,69,000. So if income is less than the amount of tax, the difference will be your marginal relief. What I'll do with it? Need to deduct it from this value. Don't do this in examination. In examination, you have to show it like this, that tax was 312,8,000 less marginal relief 6,9,000. Do not use these arrows, okay? So the remaining would be 305,900. Apply 4% cess, and our answer will be 318,1,360. So you can solve it as per the study material solution method also, or this is the study material alternative method by which I am solving these for you. Now illustration number 7 says calculate the marginal relief if the income has been given 2 crore 1 lakh rupees. Age has been given in question 58 year, and we are saying optional regime 58 year, and income has been given 2 crore 1 lakh rupees. So now what we will do, we will calculate tax on 1 crore, 2 crore 1 lakh rupees, and then we will calculate tax on 2 crore rupees, same provision. Then you can find out the difference. And if this is less and tax is more, difference is marginal relief. Clear? So illustration exactly same. So no need to solve it again. Okay, the illustration number 8. Now illustration number 8 is important. And we have to solve it for, I guess, both methods. For default regime and as per normal regime. Both methods need to be applicable. Just a second. Default tax regime tax is 1. Clear. Okay, so we will solve it, and it says compute the tax liability of Mr. D. Why I'm saying it's important? Because in this case, age has been given 65 years, resident, and the income has been given 5 crore 1 lakh. And we need to solve the tax as per both methods. So first of all, we are going to solve the tax as per optional tax regime. The procedure would be same. Calculate the tax on 5 crore 1 lakh rupees income. That would be after including the 1484000, and surcharge would be 37% because income exceeding 5 crore. So that would be 5490800. Total would be 20330,800. And now step 2, we will need to solve that tax. Supposing income is of 2 rupees, 5 crore. So now tax would be 1481000, and surcharge would be 25%, that is 3702500. Total tax would be 18512500. Difference would be 1 lakh. And now you can see the difference of tax is 1818300. So marginally will be almost 70,18,300 rupees. You can deduct it from this value and then 4% cess. But when you will solve this question under default tax regime, now there's an interesting thing. Default. In short, we need to calculate tax on 5 crore 1 lakh rupees. Surcharge rate would be 25%, not 37%, because in a default, the maximum rate of surcharge is 25%. After surcharge, the tax would be 184,000,000. And up to 5 crore, when you will find out the tax of this, the tax after surcharge would be 183,625,000. Now difference of income would be 1 lakh and difference of tax would be 37,500. So now income is more and tax is less. So now there is no marginally. So what tax we calculated above, this is going to be our final tax after applying 4% cess. So it is not in every case that marginal leave is going to be applicable. There could be cases where marginal leave is not going to be applicable. Clear? That was illustration number 8. And illustration number 9 is very simple. You have to calculate the tax 7,15,000. That was illustration number 19, what we have discussed as a rebate question. That was our illustration number 19. This is illustration number 19, what we have discussed. So illustrations has been completed almost. Then now we will move to our third part of the basic concept chapter, and that is agricultural income provision. Very interesting. We have theoretical as well as numerical provision also. Before that, let me see if there is any query. Rebate will be deducted from tax, right? Yes, of course. Bhavna is asking, sir, cess किस पर calculate करते हैं? I have told you, cess will be calculated on tax minus rebate, if any, plus surcharge, if any. After these three things, whatever is the sum you have to calculate cess upon that value. Okay. Sudhir is asking, sir, your previous lecture can be watched for further chapters. Previous lectures of Maya, which has been uploaded on the portal, is for assessment year 24-25 classes. That is for January attempt. house property, salary, PGBP, capital gain, income from other sources, calculation of tax, return filing, etc. They all have there. Fine. That is for assessment year 24-25. For 25-26, we are taking basic concept. Then there will be residential status provision in our next session. Okay. So almost 4 o'clock is there. Let's do one thing. I think we should take a break, and then when we will be back with the agriculture income provision, with integration provision, and with some MCQs and test your knowledge questions also need to be discussed there. Fine. So We are live. Okay. So welcome back, everyone, and I hope you must have your tea, coffee, etc. And we are continuing our class, and we will discuss the provisions of agricultural income. But before that, we are going to have a very short story, of course, and it will be in Hindi. What is this? So we will discuss your query after the story. So the story is like this. एक बहुत गांव था जहां पर सब कुछ बहुत अच्छा था. उस गांव के पास एक थोड़ा दूर एक गुरु और एक उनका शिष्य रहते थे, ऑफ कोर्स. एंड वो लोग रोज गांव जाते थे, वहां से अपना सामान लेकर आते थे. खाने पीने का गांव से उन्हें सामान मिलता था, और गांव में बहुत मेहनत करते थे, बहुत लोगों की हेल्प करते थे. जो भी लोग काम करवाना चाहते थे वो होता. तो एक बारी गांव में बारिश नहीं हुई. इट वॉज ड्रॉट ओवर देयर. तो वहाँ के लोग बहुत परेशान थे, बहुत सारी डिसीजेज वहां पर हो गई. स्टिल वो जो गुरु और जो उनका शिष्य था वो हर दिन गांव जाते थे और लोगों की पूरी सेवा करते थे. जो भी कंट्रीब्यूशन हो पाता था उनकी तरफ से वो करते थे, हेल्प करते थे. चीजें ठीक हो रही थी, बट इट वाज नॉट कि बहुत जल्दी ठीक हो रही थी. और उस साल उस गांव में बारिश भी नहीं हुई, तो उनको भी खाने के लिए काफी मुश्किल से कुछ मिल पाता था. दे वर प्रेइंग टू गॉड के कुछ अच्छा हो जाए, सब कुछ ठीक हो जाए, एटसेट्रा. बट थिंग्स वर नॉट गोइंग इन देयर वे. तो ऐसा करते करते काफी दिन निकल गए. डिसीजेस कम हुई, बट प्रोडक्शन नहीं था, फार्मिंग नहीं हो पा रही थी, एग्रीकल्चर नहीं हो पा रहा. तो ऐसे केस में फिर एक दिन जब वो गांव से वापस अपने हट में आए रहने के लिए, जो गांव से थोड़ा दूर थी, वो बहुत तेज आंधी आई और उनकी आधी जो हट थी, हाफ पोर्शन वो टूट गया. तो जो शिष्य था, जो उनका स्टूडेंट था, वो बहुत एंग्री हुआ, बहुत दुखी हुआ, बहुत फ्रस्ट्रेट हुआ कि हम दिन रात गॉड से प्रे करते हैं, गॉड की सेवा करते हैं, उनके लिए प्रे करके उनके बारे में बात करते हैं, बट ही इज नॉट लिसनिंग टू अस. तो वैसे इतनी प्रॉब्लम चल रही है, और देखो अब आंधी ने हमारा घर भी तोड़ दिया. तो जो गुरु थे उन्होंने कहा कोई बात नहीं, गॉड वॉट एवर दे और ही डू, इट इज फॉर बेस्ट फॉर अस. सो हमें अपना काम करते रहना चाहिए. व्हाट विल हैपन वी विल सी. लेकिन हमारा काम क्या है? लोगों की सेवा करना एंड अपनी तरफ से फुल करना. बट वो शिष्य वॉज वेरी अनोइंग, वो बहुत बहुत गुस्सा था. तो उस रात को जब सोने के लिए गए तो गुरु ने कहा एक काम करो तुम, जो हट का आधा हिस्सा बचा हुआ है उस साइड सो, मैं जो हट का आधा हिस्सा टूट गया है वहां सो जाऊं. ऐसा हुआ. रात को दोनों सोए. सुबह जब उठे तो शिष्य ने देखा बारिश होना शुरू हो गई थी. उस दिन रेन हुई गांव में काफी अच्छी, सब लोग बड़े खुश. धीरे धीरे जो डिसीजेस थी वो भी बड़ी जल्दी खत्म होना शुरू हुई. तो ऐसा हुआ तो शिष्य बहुत खुश हुआ. उसने कहा देखा ये कितना अच्छा हुआ. तो उसके गुरु ने उसे बताया कि जब रात को मैं सोया उस दिन, उस साइड पर जो वहां पर हट टूट गई थी, तो आई सॉ शूटिंग स्टार. और मैंने विश मांगी कि इस गांव में बारिश हो और यहाँ के सारे लोगों की प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाए. एंड वाई एबल टू आई वाज एबल टू डू दैट बिकॉज मेरी हट आधी टूट गई थी. अगर हट नहीं टूटी होती तो मैं ये विश नहीं मांग पाता. और जो मेरी विश पूरी होने से, शूटिंग स्टार की वजह से, मतलब गॉड ने हट तोड़ा लेकिन उसकी वजह से हमें बेनिफिट हुआ. सो इन द सेम वे, in your case also, you have to believe in yourself, do your hard work. It does not matter even if you are going for examination in January 2025, and if you think कि अभी मेरा कोर्स पूरा नहीं हुआ है, it's very difficult to complete the course, what will be the result? So do not fear for the result, do not think about the result, just believe in yourself, do your best. अभी एक स्टूडेंट का मेरे पास कॉल आया 2-3 दिन पहले, and he was going to attempt for intermediate examination in 2025 January. And he was saying कि सर my course मैं कर चुका हूँ अपने complete, but I was thinking कि I'm not prepared completely. So should I skip that attempt? I said no. Do not think about the result. Just you have 3 months right now. Just prepare yourself. Give more attention to the study. Give your more time to it, and just think about that how you are going to give the examination. Not about whatever the result will come. It will happen whatever will happen. You just do your best. And उसके बाद जो भी होगा, we will see to it. So in this case also apply that for examination purpose, do not think about the result until you are giving your examination. जब exam खत्म हो जाए, after that discuss about the result. But before that, you should only focus on the study. You have enough time, still you have enough time if you have lack in your study and you are going for examination in 2025 January. You have a lot of time, still you have 3 months almost. And for May examination, of course, you have plenty of time. You can plan your study, make strategies, and just give your 100%. That is enough. Okay. So moving on to the provisions, we need to cover a lot of things. That was agricultural income provision. That is agricultural income provision, what we are going to discuss. A very short concept of agricultural income. Generally, what is agricultural income? In general meaning, we all know what we are actually getting from farming, etc. That is agricultural income. But the definition is slightly wide. It's not this simple, it's slightly wide also. It says agricultural income is not only the farming income, but some other income also part of agricultural income under income tax. What are those income? Let's discuss this one by one, then we will take the queries later. Agricultural income exemption from tax. This is in our income tax, agricultural income is exempt from tax, but we need to know what is agricultural income. That is more important to know what is agricultural income exactly. So it is exempted from tax, but all incomes, whatever we think that those are agricultural income, might not be an agricultural income. For example, if a farmer produce sugarcane, and after that sugarcane, he process and manufactured sugar and sell that sugar in the market. So now, whether he is running an agricultural activity or not, this is going to be discussed in this chapter, one by one. So what is agricultural income means? It says any rent or revenue. It's very interesting point. It says any rent or revenue. So revenue we understood. Revenue means the income we earn from the production of agricultural produce and to sell it into market. That is revenue. That is for normal farming. We all know that. But how rent could be an agricultural income? So the provision says if any person having a land and he himself carry out agricultural operation or he does farming over there and sell the agricultural produce in market, so that is called the revenue and that would classify as agricultural income. But suppose Mr. A owned this land, either he himself doing agricultural operation over it and getting the income and getting the revenue, so that is agricultural income and it will fall in revenue category. But suppose Mr. A reside in a city, Delhi. He has a land in a village and he let out this property to a farmer. And the farmer using this property for farming, both condition must be fulfilled. Let out for farming purpose and it has been used for farming purpose and he sell the agricultural produce and getting revenue. So that is this farmer agricultural income, but whatever farmer will pay as a rent to Mr. A for letting out his land will also constitute agricultural income in the hands of Mr. A. This is so interesting. In Hindi we can say that अगर कोई मिस्टर ए हैं जिनके पास अपनी एक प्रॉपर्टी है, एक लैंड है, उस पर अगर वो खुद एग्रीकल्चरल ऑपरेशन कर कर इनकम कमाते हैं, दैट इज एग्रीकल्चर इनकम इन द कैटेगरी ऑफ रेवेन्यू. बट अगर वो उस लैंड को किसी फार्मर को फार्मिंग के लिए लेट आउट करते हैं और वो उसे यूज भी फार्मिंग के पर्पस के लिए करता है और उससे होने वाला रेवेन्यू उस फार्मर के लिए एग्रीकल्चरल इनकम है रेवेन्यू की डेफिनेशन में, लेकिन वो फार्मर जो भी पेमेंट एज अ रेंट मिस्टर ए को करेगा, whether in monetary form or non-monetary form, that will also be considered as agricultural income in the hands of Mr. A. So this has provision has been made to encourage the farming in our country. कि अगर आपके पास कोई एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड है और आप उससे लेट आउट करना चाहते हैं, सो इट वुड बी मोर बेनिफिशियल if you let out that land for agricultural purpose. In that case, rent will be exempted in your hand. But if you let out that rent for any other purpose, for other than agricultural purpose, that we let out that land for some uh, uh, circus, etc., which is going to be organized on that field. So that rental income would be taxable. So that is for encouragement of agricultural production. That's why it says agricultural income include rent, revenue derived from land which is situated in India and used for agricultural purpose. Any rent received from use of agricultural land for agricultural purpose, whether in kind or money, will be deemed as agricultural income in the hand of landlord. Clear? That means, example I have shared with you, that share of agriculture income. So if that farmer pay the rent in non-monetary form also, it will constitute agricultural income in the hands of landlord. The term agricultural has not been defined in the act. You can go through with this provision, normal provision. Now, in some cases, there are some activities which are applied by the farmer to make the product marketable. So those activities will also considered as the agricultural activities, and the income arising out of it will be an agricultural income. The point number 2, you can read it. The point number 3, sale of agricultural produce in the market. As I discussed with you, suppose some farmer is in the production of sugarcane and then selling after processing and converting it into sugar. So in that case, it is composite business. It is a business which comprise both activity, agricultural as well as non-agricultural. In that case, the non-agricultural activity income is going to be taxable and the agricultural income activity is going to be exempted. How we will find out the agricultural activity and non-agricultural activity, that is going to be discussed in this later in this chapter. So we discussed that if there you have a land on which you are earning revenue or rent, that is going to be your agricultural income. Now, second is income from farm building also be treated as an agricultural income. What is the income of farm building? So it says, suppose you have a farmhouse. In first case, that was a land, but now we are talking about the building. So if you have a farmhouse and if you let out this farmhouse to a farmer, and of course, he used this farmhouse as a storehouse or used for his residential purpose. In that case, any rent received by you also is going to be treated as agricultural income, and that is going to be exempted, but these 4 conditions need to be fulfilled. The rent from farmhouse or farm building will be considered as agricultural income and going to be exempted if these 4 conditions has been satisfied. The first one, the building should be on the immediate vicinity of the agricultural land. That means, suppose this is your land area, the building, the farmhouse should be situated in the area in which agricultural operations are carried on. So it should not be like this, that the agricultural land is somewhere else and the farmhouse is somewhere else. No, the farmhouse should be within the boundary of that agricultural land. So vicinity means the boundary. So this building should be within the boundary of that agricultural land. First condition you need to be fulfilled. Building should be occupied by the cultivator. That means this building has been used by the cultivator. Cultivator means the farmer. The land is situated outside the urban area. This is the interesting condition, that the land on which this farmhouse has been constructed, it should not be in urban area. It should be outside the urban area, that it should be in rural area. It should be situated within rural area. And the cultivator required the house as dwelling house, that means for residential purpose, or as a storehouse. So if these 4 conditions has been fulfilled, only in that situation, the rent received from that farm building is going to be exempted, because this is going to be treated as your agricultural income. What is the meaning of urban area, rural area? That has been mentioned as follows. You can read out the definition, and we have multiple example also to make you understand in which situation it will be treated as an urban area or it will be treated as an rural area. You can go through with this example also. Third case. So we have read that if you have a land and you are earning rent or revenue, it will be an agricultural income. If you have a farm building, you are earning rent after satisfying certain condition, it will be an agricultural income. Now, third case says agricultural income includes income from nursery operation also. So if there is a nursery and you are earning income from that nursery business, that is also treated as your agricultural income. Now, most important point of this chapter is composite business. The example of sugarcane and sugar, what we were discussing, this is the most important part of agricultural income topic. So if you are running a business in which there are agricultural activity as well as non-agricultural activity, so how we will find out the agricultural activity income and non-agricultural activity income? This is going to be discussed in this provision. So we will discuss the composite business provision in detail later in this chapter only. There are some questions. Would income arising from transfer of agricultural land, situated in urban area is agricultural income? The answer is no. So if you have a agricultural land in rural area, transfer of that rural area is exempted from tax. But if you have an agricultural land in urban area, then if you transfer that agricultural land, that is going to be taxable. So this point is going to be discussed detail under capital gain chapter. It's a part of capital gain chapter. Okay. Suppose a sale agricultural land situated in New Delhi for 10 lakh rupees and makes a surplus, a profit of 8 lakh rupees. That is going to be taxable. That is not going to be exempted. Now, there are some examples to show you that what kind of income could be an agricultural and what could not be considered as an agricultural income. Like example says, X was the managing agent of a company. He was entitled for a commission at the rate of 10% per annum on the profit of the company. And that company runs agricultural business. So the question is, whatever commission Mr. X was earning from the profit of a company, which company is in agricultural income? So is that commission is going to be an agricultural income in the hands of Mr. X? The answer is no. Why it is no? Who will tell me why the answer is no? What is the reason? So there is a company which is involved in the agricultural operation and whatever profit that company is earning is exempted. How upon that net profit what company is earning, 10% we are giving as a commission to the managing agent, Mr. X, but that is not going to be an agricultural income. Why it is not an agricultural income? Can anybody tell me? Why it is not an agricultural income? The surcharge rate regarding dividend income or those special rate of income, that is going to be discussed in detail when we will solve that total income tax liability questions also. So for the time being, because this is the first chapter and there are multiple provisions, so I just explained the surcharge basic tax provisions. The detail of surcharge, what it should going to be taxable on dividend income, etc. That we will discuss when we will solve the questions for computation of total tax liability. From till now, we do not know the rate of special tax rate on long term, short term, casual income, AMT provision, etc. So we just discussed the general provisions of surcharge when there are other income is also given. In that situation, what surcharge should be applicable on the normal tax rate of income, that we have discussed. More detailed provision will be discussed later. Okay. Okay, so somebody is saying, Shruti is saying X getting salary, okay, or X is getting commission, okay. Then Mr. X providing his service. Commission is like a remuneration. It is salary income and not deriving from doing agricultural. This income agent, okay, not exactly what I am expecting from you. Your answers are correct, but I just want to see the thought process. How you are giving the answer. When I'm asking why commission is not an agricultural income, we know commission is not an agricultural income. But I'm just asking why it is not an agricultural income. Because revenue from factory, someone is saying X rendering services, Mr. Vayukunta Vasu Manya. Arun is saying not having the agricultural land, he is not doing farming, he is commission income. Okay. Your answers are correct. Let me tell you how you should evolve these answers. We just discussed when an income will be considered as an agricultural income. The point number one we discussed that agriculture income needs there must be a land, then rent or revenue could be agricultural income. So whatever commission Mr. X is getting, that is does not fall in the first category of definition. Then second category was farm building, and that is also not a farm building rent what Mr. X is getting. The third one is nursery business, and he's not involved in nursery business also, and not even doing the composite business. So whenever there's a question that something does not belong to agricultural income or not, so what we need to do, we need to apply the provision first. Mr. X get the commission. So why are you giving the answer that he is getting commission? He is getting salary. Why? We should say whatever he is getting, it does not count in point number one, point number two, point number three, point number four. So because the income, whatever he is receiving, does not fall in the farmhouse let out income, land income, nursery operation, or composite. So this is the way you need to solve the question. Suppose I ask you that Mr. X went to a forest and he sells some part of agricultural produce from that forest area. So now whatever income he is getting, is it an agricultural income or not? Not Mr. X. Suppose I am going to some forest and I found some big trees over there, agriculture produces there, some fruits, etc. I collect them all and I sold them into the market. So whether it's an agriculture income of me or not. So before giving answer, put your questions in point number 1, 2, 3, or 4. If the answer is yes, then it could be agricultural income. Otherwise, so does this example falls in point number 1, 2, 3, 4? You can get answer of any question if you apply with the help of provision. So is this going to be agricultural income or not? Okay, who's going to give answer? It is not an agricultural income because point number 1 says that it should be used for agricultural purpose. So we did not use the land. Either I am going to use that land, then the revenue could be my agricultural income, or a farmer. If I am going to a forest and collect some agricultural produce and sold them into the market, it cannot fulfill in category 1, 2, or 3, or 4. So it cannot be my agricultural income. Example 5 you can go through. The forest example is example number 6, what we discussed. Okay, one more question. It's a very interesting question. And please give me answer. I want to see how you can apply the provision. Listen carefully. I have a land in Delhi. Okay, I have a land in Delhi. I produced agricultural by way of farming. I produced some agricultural product on that land and I sold them into the market and earned 50 lakh rupees only. I have only one income, that is that 50 lakh rupees. The profit is 50 lakh rupees. So it is going to be agricultural income or not? The plot is in Delhi, fine. And I have conduct farming operation on it and produce agricultural product. And then I earned an income of 50 lakh rupees. So whether it is an agricultural income or not, and give me your answer with the reason. Please do apply the provision before giving the answer. Don't give me the simple answer, yes, no, no. I need the reason, whether it's for forward reason, a single line, whatever it is. Okay, so Tejaswin is saying no because it is a PGBP income. Reason, it is not a farm income, not a composite. supply, not a nursery income. Acha, okay. Bhavna saying, so repeat the question. We are on YouTube. You can scroll back the video and you can see the question as many times you want. Okay. Okay. No, sir, because he's not doing any operation. Okay. Shruti is saying palm need to be in rural area. So I think no. Ms. Bhavna is saying yes, belong to first category. Kasak is saying not agriculture income as it's urban area. The region should be rural area. Very good. Kambeshwari is saying yes, agriculture income because point number one. Sudhir is saying yes, agriculture income because farming is done by, okay. It is not agriculture income because it is in urban land, okay. Neha is saying agriculture income because land is situated inside the India and land used for agriculture purpose, okay. Arun Mishra, yes, will be agriculture income according to the provision. You must have land. No, because urban, Privina is saying this. No, sir, not an agricultural. Raman is saying Delhi is an urban area. Ranjita is saying. Afsal is saying it's an agricultural income. Raman is saying because the land in not in a rural area. Bhavya is saying it wouldn't be agricultural income because it's an urban area. Okay. So the correct answer it's 100% agricultural income. Why? Because point number, I was saying I was doing agricultural activities. I was doing farming over there. And farming case fall in point number one. The urban and rural provision is for point number two, farmhouse rent. But my question does not belong to the farmhouse property income. My question belongs to point number one. And point number one, the requirement is only the land which is situated in India and used for agricultural purpose. There was no requirement of urban or rural. That rural concept is for farm building. So that's I was saying. Read the question, apply the provision, then you will get the answer. Okay. So the answer is yes, it's 100% agricultural. And this point was what we discussed this point. That was for transfer of agricultural land. In this case also we need urban or rural. But for my question it was for farming. There was no requirement of urban or rural. Understood? Good. Moving on further, there are some example of agricultural income, non-agricultural. Now this is the most important provision, what I was discussing with you, composite business. Or a case where there are agricultural income and non-agricultural income both. So in that situation, we have a concept of integration of agricultural income with non-agricultural. Integration of, consolidation of. So this is a kind of a method by which you need to calculate tax in the question if in that question agricultural income and non-agricultural income both is being given. So when this provision will be applicable, the question says the condition needs to be fulfilled. If all of the following conditions are satisfied, then integration will applicable. All three conditions need to be satisfied. Condition one is it is applicable only for individual HUF, AOP, BOI and AJP. So this is only applicable for individual HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP for those persons for which slab rate is applicable. Fine. Not for company, partnership firm, etc. Condition number two, it says your agricultural income must exceed 5,000 rupees. Your agricultural income must or should exceed at least 5,000 rupees and your non-agricultural income should exceed the basic exemption limit, which was 2.5 lakh, 3 lakh, 5 lakh, or for 1.5 BAC, it was 3 lakh. So if you are an individual, HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP, your agricultural income exceeding 5,000 and your non-agricultural income is exceeding the basic exemption limit, then you will calculate tax as per integration provision. And what is the process? Here is the process. Integration will be applied as follows. Step 1, computation of tax on total income, including agricultural income. Step 1 says, suppose in the question it has been given that you earn agricultural income 10 lakh rupees and you are having non-agricultural income, suppose 20 lakh rupees. Now step 1 says if you are an individual, your agricultural income exceeding 5,000, your non-agriculture exceeding the basic exemption limit. So integration provision has been applicable. Now you need to solve the question as follows. How we will solve? Rates would be same, just a separate kind of process, a different kind of process. Why this process has been implemented, I will tell you later. So what we need to do, you will see the smartness of income tax in this provision, the smartness at its peak. So step 1 says, now compute tax on total income, including agricultural income. Generally, department says agricultural incomes are exempted. There is no tax on it. But they say, okay, it is exempted, but follow with our procedure. We will give the exemption, but with a different kind of concept. If you have agricultural and non-agricultural income. So in this example, what we need to do, step number 1 says, calculate tax including agricultural income as per normal provision. So your total income will be taken as 30 lakh and calculate tax on it. Suppose this is 100% non-agricultural. So in point number 1, you need to calculate tax on agricultural as per as non-agricultural without any exemption. You have to calculate tax as per normal provision. That means I have to calculate tax on 30 lakh rupees. If it is a default tax regime, then that slab rate 3 lakh, 3 lakh, then 4 lakh, then 3 lakh, then 2 lakh, then 3 lakh, like that. And if it is an optional tax regime, then first 2.5 lakhs exempted, then so on. So normal, you just understand you have to calculate tax supposing your income is 30 lakh rupees normal. First point. Step number 2 says, now compute tax on agricultural income plus maximum amount not chargeable to tax. Now for step number 2, take the agricultural income. In my example, it was 10 lakh rupees. And add the basic exemption limit on this. Suppose I am solving as per default tax regime. So basic exemption limit is 3 lakh rupees. So total would be 13 lakh. Now I need to calculate tax. Supposing my income is 13 lakh. So in first step, I calculate the tax as per normal provision. Supposing my income is 30 lakh. Suppose it is more than 50 lakh, then I need to apply the surcharge also. Cess would not be applicable. Rebate would not be considered in this case. Surcharge will be applicable. So in first step, I have to calculate tax supposing my income is 30 lakh. Second step, I again need to calculate tax suppose my income is 13 lakh. Then step number 3 says tax liability will be step number 1 minus step number 2. Then apply rebate provision later on and then cess. Generally, in all cases, we have to apply rebate before surcharge. But this is an exception. In this case, if surcharge is applicable, you have to apply earlier and rebate will be considered later. Very interesting provision. Let me show you why, how to do this. Okay. Now take an example. Suppose Mr. A resident of India, age is 40 years, having agricultural income, just a second, okay. Okay, so 40 year of age, agricultural income, suppose 5 lakh rupees. in the question, and non-agricultural income is 10 lakh rupees in the question, right? So all conditions fulfill. Individual resident agricultural more than 5,000 and non-agricultural exceeding exemption. And we are opting for optional tax regime. Suppose integration provisions were not there. Suppose, then how to solve this? We will exempt this. No tax on this because agriculture income is exempt from tax. We will calculate tax on this, which will be 1,12,500. Upon this, no rebate will be there because income exceeding 5 lakh. No surcharge because income is less than 50 lakh. And cess will be applicable as always. That would be 4,500, 4% cess. That would be 1,17,000. If this integration concept was not there, then the government will collect the tax in this situation 1,17,000. Clear? Now, after the integration provision, things will change. Now we will solve it like this. Step number 1. It says assume all incomes are non-agricultural. So now we need to take the income as 15 lakh. Clear? Upon 15 lakh, I have to calculate the tax. So 150 plus that would be on 15 lakh 2,62,500. Rebate will not apply. Rebate will be applied after step number 3 if applicable. And surcharge will not be applicable over here because income is less than 50 lakhs. Cess will be last. So my tax will be 262,500. Clear? Step 2. Now why step 2 is there? What happened? Technically, you calculate tax on agricultural income also. In this income, my agricultural income 5 lakh has been included. So if you will tax this, so farmer will oppose this. What are you doing? You said agriculture income is exempt in our country. So how you taxable my income? So if you taxed on 15 lakh, farmer will oppose. So department say, okay, relax, do not worry. We wrongly taxed your income, including in normal income, and tax is 262,500. So let us do one thing. We calculate the tax upon agricultural income, whatever your exempted income, out of this 15 lakh, whatever is the exempted income category income, we taxed your whole income. Fine. So whatever out of this 15 lakh, whatever incomes comes into the exempted category income, we calculate the tax on that income in step number 2, and we deduct that tax from your step 1 income. So what we will have remaining, the tax on the taxable income. So this is very smart. Look what happened. So step number 2 says, now take the agricultural income, that is 5 lakh, plus the exemption limit, which is 2.5 lakh in this case. So we wrongly calculate tax upon your this 15 lakh. So now we will calculate tax upon this category of income. And this tax will be deducted from the total tax. So what we will remain? The tax of taxable income. You see the smartness. So now we will calculate the tax on this to 7.5 lakh rupees income in normal case. First 2.5 lakh rupees is nil. Balance 2.5 lakh 5%, that is 12,500. Up to 5 lakh has been done. The balance 2.5 lakh is with 20% rate. That would be 50,000. So total tax would be 62,500. Clear? So department says, look, we have done a mistake that we calculate tax on your full income, but your exempted category income tax would have been 62,500, which we wrongly include in the first category. So step number 3 says, let's deduct this tax from this. So we have the tax of taxable income. So it will be 2 lakh. So now you are happy. Now you will ready to pay tax. So you say, okay, fine, it's okay because Out of this, the tax on all income, you deduct the tax on exempted income. So remaining is the tax of taxable income. That's what we were trying to do. So your agriculture income is still exempt because we deduct the tax of that agricultural income. So now 4% cess, that would be 8,000. So tax will be 2,08,000. Now it's okay. Assessee say okay. So now you can see what we did. Earlier, where we were able to collect the tax only 1,17,000 if we exempt the agricultural income. And due to this mathematics trick, still agriculture income is exempted because the tax of agricultural income we have deducted. So nobody can say that no agriculture income is taxable. No, we deduct the tax of agricultural income. So, but due to some trick, we collect the extra tax, almost 90,000 extra collection with the help of this integration concept. Can you judge how it happens? Let me tell you how it happens. When they calculate tax upon 15 lakh rupees, then agricultural income portion, which was 5 lakh, is taxed at the rate of 30% because it is exceeding 10 lakh range. So the slab rate for calculating tax on agricultural income is 30%. But when we deducted the tax of agricultural income, that 5 lakh, the tax rate would be on some part 5% and on some part is only 20% imposed. So when we subtract it, the tax on this 5 lakh will be 5% or 20% on some part. But when we taxed it, so it would have been taxed on higher rate. So due to the slab rate scenario, department gained the extra tax collection. So that is the beauty of integration provision. Now you have see that it is only applicable on individual HUF, AOP, BOI, and HAP. Okay, one more thing. In the examination, you need not to show this. This is just for your information. I'm just trying to explain you why integration has been implemented. Because if integration provision is not there, then the tax collection would be lower. Due to integration, it has increased. Even after technically we are not taxable the agricultural income. So this is just to make you understood that why integration provision has been made, but this is not the part of your solution. Now you should understand why it is applicable only on this category of person, because we have slab rate. So we will tax it with the higher percentage of rate. And when the step number 2 will come, we will subtract it with the lesser percentage of rate. That's why only tax will be differ. But for partnership firm, LLP, etc., the slab rate is fixed. There is no slab rate. So if the question relate to the slab rate, in that situation, either collect with this method, either collect with this method, the answer will be same. No difference. Because it would be taxable at the specific 30% rate. And step number 2, subtraction also with 30% of rate. So there would be no difference of tax. So technically, they are saying that it is not applicable on firm, LLP, company, etc. But logically, you can understand, even if it is apply on company, partnership firm, etc., there would not be any benefit to the government. So it is only applicable upon individual HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP. Now the problem is with rebate. How rebate will be applicable in this case? Surcharge will be applicable at the time of step number 1 or 2 if applicable. For the purpose of rebate, the concept say after step number 3 calculation, you will provide the rebate. After step number 3 calculation, you will provide the rebate, but rebate will be provided if the non-agricultural income is up to a specific limit, 5 lakh or 7 lakh in case of 115 PAC. So if the non-agricultural income, in our example, non-agricultural income was 10 lakh, so rebate could not be applicable. Suppose in this example, agricultural income is 10 lakh and non-agriculture is 5 lakh. Then after step number 1 and step number 2, we can claim 12,500 rupees rebate because non-agriculture income is up to rupees 5 lakh. So this provision also has been mentioned. Note has been given. Step 1 and step 2 tax calculation. Okay, Ms. Bhavna asking if agriculture income is 5 lakh and non-agriculture is 1 lakh, this provision will not be applicable because non-agricultural must exceed the basic exemption limit. Okay. Yes, integration provision has been made by government, so it is legal, of course. So listen about the rebate concept. After step number 1 and step number 2 tax calculation without rebate, we will not apply the rebate provision of 12,500 or 25,000. And rebate of this will be available after step number 3 taxability if normal total income means non-agricultural, is up to 5 lakh or 7 lakh. Again, if you apply income is exceeding 7 lakh in case of 115 BAC, remember? Then rebate that marginal leave kind of rebate provision what we have discussed today, that will also applicable. Suppose if non-agriculture income is 7 lakh 10,000 and we have to calculate tax as per section 15 BAC, then to find out the rebate provision, you have to apply that rebate concept A or B if more than A. That is going to be applicable. For assessment year 24-25, generally it's applicable on this limit. For assessment year 24-25, the rebate section, this is for saving your time. So if your total income is up to 7,27,780 for assessment year 24-25 students, this rebate of 15 BAC applicable. Suppose in question the income has been given 7,30,000. Automatically rebate will not be applicable, so you will not waste your time for assessment year 24-25 students. For 25-26 students, the rebate would be applicable approximate when your income is 7,20,220 rupees. If income is more than 7,23,000, etc., this rebate would not be applicable. So in that case, you will not waste your time for calculation of rebate. Clear? In the notes downloaded, the notes uploaded by me, in that notes, this is not mentioned over there. I updated these notes right now, so you can, from this video, you can write it over here that for 25-26, this limit will be this. On the uploaded notes, only this limit is there. Fine, but I have updated these details for the purpose of assessment year 25-26. This limit will be changed. So that was integration of agricultural income with non-agricultural income. We have in our last topic determination of agricultural income in some cases. In composite business, like business having agricultural as well as non-agricultural activities. In that case, whatever profit you will have, like you are in a tea business. So you initially produce tea plants and after the processing, you sell the tea into the market. Or if it's a coffee business or if it's a rubber business. So for these 4 category of business, the provision has been made that whatever profit these business will earn. Suppose I am doing a tea business. So I have produce tea plants and after the processing, I sell tea into the market, earned 3 crore rupees as my sale and net profit was suppose 90 lakh rupees. So this 90 lakh rupees has both activities contribution. Till the production of tea plants, it is my agricultural activity. And after that tea plant goes into the factory for processing into a tea, that is my non-agricultural activity. So the profit consists the both activities contribution into it. So how I will find out what is agricultural income, what is non-agricultural income? So for that purpose, percentage has been defined. Only for 4 categories of it. You might be seeing 3, but there are 4 categories. So if we are doing a rubber business, you are plant rubber plants, and from that natural rubber, you produce the synthetic rubber, you produce the rubber products like eraser, etc. So in that case, you will get the money after selling eraser, etc. And that money or that profit belongs to both activities. So in that case, that profit will be divided into this percentage. The 35% of the profit will be non-agricultural, that means taxable, and 65% would be agricultural, that means exempted. If you are doing a coffee business, coffee beans, then 75% of profit is agricultural, 25% is taxable. If it is a roasted coffee or a tea, then it's 40% and 60%. So you will see the higher percentage belongs to the exempted part, to the agricultural part. But the problem is this, there are multiple business like this, like sugar cane, it might be juices business, might be jam business, etc. But we have only percentage for these four kind of activities: rubber, coffee beans, roasted coffee, and tea. So for other business, how we will find out the agricultural and non-agricultural? Rule number 7 has been provided for this. And it says market value of agricultural produce utilized will be deducted from the sale price of finished goods. So for other business, we have to do this. What he is trying to explain, it says for other business, you have to maintain separate trading and profit and loss account to find out the income from agricultural operations or non-agricultural operations. The example has been given over here. The example belongs to the other business. Those are composite also. It says, suppose you are in a business of production of sugarcane and then process it and produce sugar and sell that sugar into the market. So suppose as a farmer, you expend 10 lakh rupees on cultivation of sugarcane for production of sugarcane. Then you process it into the factory and spend 15 lakh rupees. After that, you produce sugar and sell that sugar into the market. As a revenue, you got 50 lakh rupees. But if you do not use that sugarcane for processing of sugar, or if you want to sell that sugar cane directly into the market without using it for sugar production, if you directly sell the sugar cane, then you would have been collected 25 lakh rupees. So this is the FMV of sugar cane. Now I need to find out the agricultural income and non-agricultural. So practically what you do, practically you cultivate the sugarcane, then process it into the sugar, then sell into the market. So in this case, we have to find out, we do not have any percentage. If we do have any percentage, we can find out a single profit with the single trading and profit and loss account. And then we can bifurcate as per the percentage. But because we do not have a percentage, so we have to prepare two trading and profit and loss account. And let me give you a trick. One trading and P&L will be for agricultural income and one for non-agricultural income. Now here is the trick. When you prepare this agricultural activity profit and loss and trading account, assume yourself as a farmer only for the question. If you are 100% farmer, then what is my work? I need to cultivate the sugarcane and directly sold that sugarcane into the market. I will not process that. So when you solve this trading and P&L, assume that you're working only farming activity. You do not know the processing of sugar and sugar item. You just wanted to solve the question, assuming that you are only a farmer. And when you are a non-agriculture activity trading P&L, then assume yourself as a businessman. You do not cultivate the sugarcane. You bought the sugarcane, you purchased that sugarcane and process in the market and sell the sugar. So just imagine yourself as a farmer only and just imagine yourself as a businessman. So now we can solve it. So cost of cultivation of sugarcane 10 lakh rupees. Which part it should go? It should be an agriculture activity or non-agricultural. Of course, it's a part of agricultural. So it would be my cost of cultivation expenditure 10 lakh rupees. It would be over there. Processing cost is part of farming activities? No. So I will skip this information for my this trading P&L. Sale of sugar is of course not the part of my this trading P&L because I do not know what is sugar. I know only how to cultivate sugarcane, how to sell it. So again, this information is also irrelevant. Now FMV of sugar can utilize. So if I would not have produced the sugar, then I would have sold these sugarcane and I would have received it is as a sale value. So that would be my sale value, 25. And net profit would be 15 lakhs. So that is my agricultural income. Now moving on to non-agricultural activity, trading and P&L. Now again, cost of cultivation, is it part of my activity? No. Processing cost the part of my activity? Yes. But what I will process? I need to process the sugarcane that I need to buy from the market. So whatever will be the FMV for farmer will be the automatically purchase for this activity. Universal rule, whatever you will consider as a FMV at the like a sale for farming activity, that will automatically convert into the purchase. So what is the purchase value? Would be 25 lakh. And the sale of sugar, of course, you will take 50 lakh. So that is my net profit of non-agricultural activities. Clear? So it would be 23 lakh 50,000. So this is non-agricultural. Now let me tell you students, if the question asks calculate tax on the income, integration provision will be applicable. Why? Because agriculture income exceeding 5,000, non-agricultural exceeding 2.5 or 3 or 5, whatever it is. So even if these question, if you need to calculate tax, whether for these question or for these rate of tax, what we were discussing, if the agricultural income exceeding 5,000, non-agricultural exceeding exemption limit, you have to calculate tax as per integration provision. Understood? So that was my advice for always you revise twice. That's my advice to make you wise. But we are not finished yet. We are not going anywhere. There are one or two MCQ I need to discuss with you. Those are technical MCQ. So that would help you to solve the questions. Okay. Just give me a second. First of all, we should CQs. Just a second. There are some test your knowledge questions. Like question number 1 are these are theoretical 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Point number 6 is a question of rubber manufacturing, the business we were talking about. So Mr. Smith, a resident, is the agriculture income question, and it says earn income of 15 lakh rupees from sale of rubber manufactured from latex obtained from rubber plants grows by him in India, and 20 lakhs from the sale of rubber manufactured from latex obtained from the rubber plants grown by him in Malaysia. So only those agricultural income in which agricultural operation has been carried out in India, because the land should be situated in India, that is agricultural income. This 20 lakh is completely non-agricultural income. Clear? This 15 lakh is rubber business. So rubber business having the percentage of, we have 35%. and 65%. So 35% would be 5.25, which is non-agricultural, and 65 is your 9.75, which is agricultural. So in this example, what is total non-agricultural income? This 20 lakhs from Malaysia plus this 5.25. And this is our agricultural income. Again, if the question asks for calculation of tax, integration provision will be there. Question number 7. Mr. Raja, resident India, earns 10 lakh rupees from sale of coffee grounds and cured in India. His friend Mr. Shyam, a resident in India, earns 20 lakh from sale of coffee ground and roasted, grounded, etc. You have to tell the income. So that is a coffee grown and roasted coffee case. So for this, the percentage would be coffee beans 75 and 25 will be applicable. And for this 20 lakh, the percentage would be 60% and 40% will be applicable. Clear? Again, integration will be there if they ask you to calculate the tax. Question number 8 belongs to HUF. In HUF of Assam, that means Daya Bhaga. In Daya Bhaga, I have told you, till the father alive, son cannot be the co-partner, or we can say nobody can be the co-partner till the father alive. So in this question, there is Mr. Suresh Jain, his wife. So wife cannot be the co-partner, Sapna. His son cannot be the co-partner. His daughter-in-law cannot be the co-partner. His daughter, Miss Seema, cannot be the co-partner, and his unmarried brother, Mr. Preetham Jain. So they too are the co-partner of this property because they both do not have father. And if do not have any father, only those person can be the co-partner who do not have any father. So Mr. Suresh Jain and Preetham, they are brother. So they could be only the co-partner. Clear? Next, the compute the tax liability of Mr. Kashyap having 51,75,000 income. So you have to apply with the help of marginal leap. You will find it. I have solved all these questions. If you solution is also there in the solution part, you can go through it. Question number 10 is important, which I need to solve with you. Let me solve for you. And it says, Mr. Agarwal, age 40 year and a resident in India, has a total income of 6 crore 50 lakh rupees. Lecture kitni der aur chalega? Somebody is asking. It will take 5 minutes. I just need to solve this question number 10. Or all integration provision I have already discussed. MCQ will be uploaded with the answer sheets. So you can go through the MCQs. And if there is any problem in any MCQs, then you can ask me in the next class, what we have on day after tomorrow, 11th of October. So I will upload the MCQ sheet, part 1, part 2, both with the answers. If you have any query in any MCQ, you can ask me, okay? So I will solve this question and then we will close this class. So we have question number 10. And it says, suppose your income is 6 crore 50 lakh rupees, comprising long-term gain of 20%, rate has been given in question, and 55 lakh is the short-term capital gain, the rate of tax has been given 15%. So these are a special category of rate of tax. And that income is 65 lakh and balance is 5 crore 30 lakh rupees. So you have to calculate the tax under both regime. Whatever is asked from us, that we have to calculate the tax under both regime. So let's find out. So under default tax regime, first of all, you should understand the question. The question says you have the income of 6 crore 50 lakh rupees. Out of this income, we have a special category of income, that is long term, 55 lakh rupees, and short term, 65 lakh rupees. The tax rate has been given in the question because these tax rates would be discussed later when you will read the detailed chapter. Same in case of surcharge. The surcharge will be discussed in detail in the final chapters, which will be later come. So tax will be 11 lakh rupees. And for this tax would be 9,75,000 rupees. The remaining, the balance is our other income. And the balance will be 5 crore 30 lakh rupees. Clear? So under default tax regime, we will calculate the tax upon 5 crore 30 lakh rupees. That tax would come 1559000. The tax of these would be 2075000. Now you can see the other income is exceeding the 5 crore limit. So as per the surcharge provision, if other income exceeding 5 crore without including these income, the surcharge rate would be 25%. It would be 37% under optional tax regime. But under default tax regime, the maximum surcharge rate is 25%. So that would be 3897,500. And surcharge for this would be 15%. That would be 311250. If you calculate the total tax including surcharge, that would be now 4% cess 874950. That would be our total tax. Clear? So other question is also just like the same. The test your knowledge question number 11. Again, the income has been given 2 crore 30 lakh rupees. The same concept. You can apply the provision with both regime. You have to calculate. The solution has been given thereunder. So there is no problem. You can check it out. And we would discuss the MCQs. I will send with the solution on the portal. You can download it with the answer. And then if you have any issue, we can discuss the MCQ in the next class. Okay, so if there is any query. For an integration, all the conditions have to be satisfied, or if agriculture income exceed, no, all three conditions need to be satisfied, of course. All three conditions. So there should be individual, HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP, agriculture income must exceed 5,000 and non-agricultural must exceed the basic exemption limit. Only if all these three conditions fulfilled, you will apply the integration provision. I will upload the surcharge chart today. Do not worry. An MCQ sheet also for both day 1 and day 2. MCQ sheet will be there also. And we'll also upload residential status note maybe tomorrow. Okay. So if there is no more query, so we can close the session. Please revise twice. It's my advice. Okay. And we will see each other one day after tomorrow. So Mr. Bhargav, can we close the session?